Usually you're loyal to somebody, maybe it's just what I've experienced. You're loyal to somebody that can get you stuff, you know what I'm saying? So if you're on that hedge between, well, I want to stay with David or I want to go with Absalom, and he's feeding everybody all of that propaganda at the gates, the other people will go, well, I'll be loyal to him because he has more to offer than David does. David's probably not going to be the king very much longer because he's going to do something about it.
Right.
So your loyalties will switch depending on what's going to be best for you at the time.
I'm going to be loyal to because of what's in it for me. And that's where you went with it. I was going to say, okay, he is trying to get them to move in a certain direction to respect him. But maybe everybody is playing this game of, okay, what's in it for me? How do I get the best out of this? Absalom promises there will be justice when I become king. And they said, well, we want justice. We really don't care who is king, we want justice. So he stole the hearts of the people, not because they knew him. He promised something that he probably wasn't going to deliver. So I got to put the mirror up and ask myself, have I ever done that? And I stand guilty. Because there are times that I would say something to someone, I have to check my motive. The word motive comes from the word move. And it's a moving on the inside that sometimes I will say something to someone so they will side with me. I want them on my side so that when the two of us go to make a case, my case is stronger.
Right.
Every time there's a political campaign, that happens.
But I'm talking about in non-political situations, even in church or in families, how you decide that you want to get what you want. I don't want to say by any means necessary because that goes too far. But sometimes you say, okay, so I'm not going to share all of the information.
Right.
I'm going to share enough to get people to see my side of the story.
Right.
It's like a competition that you want what you want when you want it, and you will do what it takes to get that person on your side.
And society encourages that.
Yes. Yeah. It's manipulation, basically.
If you're an attorney and you represent a client, you think the client is guilty, don't ask him if he's guilty.
Right.
Refuse to do that, but just represent him to the best of your ability. In your heart, you might say, yeah, I know this guy is guilty. But I'm not allowed to ask the question. I'm going to assume that I'm going to give the best representation possible. So society encourages that you share as much information as would get to the result you want. And most games are like that. They're games of strategy. You fake the other person out. Okay, I'm going to throw a Hail Mary. Can I say that in church?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I'm going to... But the playbook says, okay, we're going to play this other play. We're going to make them think we're going to do this.
Yeah.
When they go after that, we score a touchdown or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So we are in a world that encourages competition, it encourages deception, and we cheer for the winners because they use their savvy to win. And then it filters into the rest of our lives. Like, okay, well, if it works there and we enjoy it as a sport, well, in my personal life, if there's an advantage I can have, share as much information as would make me look good.
So in the sporting world, for us spectators, it worked in sports. But for sporters, the athletes, that is their day-to-day thing. You're doing stuff at work where it happens in my industry all the time. Somebody will wire a panel and there'll be numerous mistakes. The guy that did it will only admit to, well, I only did this part. I didn't do this part, or I didn't do this part. But you were the last one in that box. It should be right when you leave. You shouldn't just, and not tell anybody about all of this other problem. All you did is your part. That's just trying to make you, you called the audible. I think that was the word you were looking for, not kill. With a running play, and then it's Omaha. Now we're going this way.
But there's another point in what you said, because if it becomes a way of, if sporting and gaming becomes a way of life for professional sportsmen,
That is their way of life.
it becomes their way of life in their personal life too.
Yes.
You get the adulation, the admiration,
You would think they would act similar.
and you get the soap opera of the Days of Our Lives effect.
Just like in any place, there are people that are just upright character guys that doesn't matter what business they're in. Their personal life is totally totally different. By you seeing them on TV and how they act, say, in movies or on a football field or whatever, you may get a certain vibe about how they are personally, and you could be way off base.
But there's also the idea that nice guys finish last.
Last.
And if you continue
Just because
to...
you win all the time doesn't mean you're a nice guy.
So the world, I guess I'm making the point that the world encourages this duplicity of mentality where we end up saying, well, on Sunday, I'll be like this, but during the week, it's okay to be like this. And John D. Rockefeller was classic for that. John D. Rockefeller, the oil magnate from the Midwest, who crushed all the small businesses Monday through Saturday and taught Sunday school every Sunday. And he didn't see any contradiction in standing up and teaching on Sunday, whereas on Monday through Saturday, he's like, okay, if you're not with me, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to crush your business.
Yeah.
So you end up with that situation where you split your personality into my church personality and my non-church personality. I hope I'm not stepping on any toes by saying this. There's another word that begins with H, but I don't want to use that word. When we split our personality like that, we pretend to be one thing here and be another thing there, and
But people do that all the time.
yes.
You know, depending upon the circumstances where what you find yourself in the middle of, and the people around you, that affects how you act a lot of times. You know.
There's a cliche that says circumstances alter cases. The circumstance can cause you to act in a way that is inappropriate. And I would say some of the best religious leaders also do that compromising thing because they want a result. And I can imagine that if you tell the people under you, look, we need this result, and they're saying, but that's unethical, you're going to say, okay, we need this result. So let's get to yes.
Figure out how to make it less unethical.
Yeah, let's get to yes, and then deal with the fallout afterwards.
Exactly.
And I think that's a lot of what's going on here. And I know I'm a little off script, but I hope that you're okay with that.
Justify the...
The end justifies the means.
By the means.
And you kind of remove your religious mindset because you need the secular outcome to be what you want it to be, so you can.
You need the end.
You need the end. You want to get that attaboy. You want the people who look up to you to give you the adulation.